Hayes is sitting there like, eat your chicken, and like, oh look, it's so cute, he can dip, you know, and it's like,
The first one gets a lot of attention.
All right.
Sorry.
Camera going, Miss Maragoni. We good all the way around? All right. Okay. We'd like to call to order our Riverdale City Council meeting for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Let the record show that all members of the City Council are present, as well as members of the city staff and members of the public. We have asked Mr. Brooks if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. And we have asked Councilor Arnold if he would offer our invocation.
our Father in heaven, we bow our heads this day and be grateful for our opportunities and blessings that we have. We're grateful for the opportunity to meet as the city council, that we might be able to make decisions that would create a community that would be pleasing unto thee. Grateful for the blessing of our city employees, and we ask that you protect each one of them individually, no matter what they happen to do for the city, and the service that they provide for our community and each one of the residents and the people that visit Riverdale. We're grateful for the opportunity to serve, opportunity to be an instrument in thy hands, that we might be able to lead those, that we might be able to be happy and healthy in all that we do. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilor Arnold. We will now move on to public comment. It's an opportunity to address the City Council regarding your concerns or ideas. No action will be taken during the public comment. Please try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and if you do approach the microphone, please state your name and the city in which you reside. Seeing none, we will move on to presentations and reports. We'll start with the mayor's report. Just a reminder, there is an LPC, Legislative Policy Committee, tomorrow with the Utah League of Cities and Towns. It's at noon. It's a virtual-only meeting, and you can sign up for that on their website. We haven't had one for a little while, so it could be, maybe a little bit interesting. So hopefully we can have at least a couple of us on there. Participated in a literacy night with the Bonneville Communities That Care. It was pretty cool. So there's this book called Wonder, and there's also a movie, and they got copies of that book into the hands of Riverdale Elementary, and they just had a massive success with it. Kids reading with their parents and just engaging, and it was very successful. And so the CTC purchased copies for all the other elementaries in the cone, and so they in turn had reading nights and engaged with their kids, and it was very successful. So they had kind of a big celebration. It might have been last Thursday. I think it was last Thursday. Anyway, it was really neat. They had a speaker come, and there was people from Riverdale and from the Terrace and South Ogden. You had it all over. We met. It was supposed to be out at Friendship Park, but we ended up going into the school because the weather was pretty bad. But they had Chick-fil-A, and it was a great night with all the other city mayors and the CTC, and it was a good night. So really successful. Steve Robinson stopped by my house last night and delivered me a hand-delivered invitation to an open house. Apparently, he's opening his own transfer station at the old Recycled Earth, and it's going to be called the Ogden Transfer Station. And he's pretty excited about that. They're already doing recycling, and they're going to start doing, solid waste here soon. And so I think the Weber Transfer Station had us sign a contract with them that we wouldn't go elsewhere for a certain amount of time. Do you remember that recently? We need to look into that and see. Maybe they saw this coming and were worried about their future or something. And
You're right.
And I vaguely remember something about that. And,
If I recall, there was something in there.
yeah, and we understood at the time they're trying to provide consistent funding for their operations. But Steve's a good guy, and I wish him all the success there. I hope he does well, and it might be something we need to look at in the future. I think competition's always good, and so having two transportation stations to choose from could be good for our city. So that was kind of exciting.
I got a little more information on that, but I won't bring it up in this meeting. But when I
Okay.
meet with you tomorrow, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So are we invited to the open house?
I'm sure you are. Like it's from like 1 to 7 next Thursday, and it's at Recycled Earth out there on Midland Drive. And yeah, he would love to. Steve's a great Riverdale guy. He'd love to see any of you guys. So yeah, I'm hoping I can stop by too. And that's all I have for the mayor's report. For the city administration report, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the usual department heads' reports are included in your packet. I don't know if you have any questions on those. I'll hit a couple of highlights in those. I apologize. We have a couple department heads missing. They're generally here. It's just that time of year with graduations, and there were a couple banquets and stuff tonight. And I felt that was more important that they were with their families and in here. But I said if there's anything pressing, I'll call you. But I didn't anticipate that there would be. But do you have any questions that jumped out at you before I move on? I would point out I love to use the bar charts and the easy to read ones. Again, our total combined sales tax, just the year to date. I like to look at that one. That's the first one I always go for. Again, we're still lagging a little bit behind, but not as much as we were at one point in time. So that's good and refreshing. The one thing I did want to point out too, because I know you guys have asked for this on the fund summary, just by pointing that out. A lot of this first part's all Cody, but we're sitting at 83% through 83% of the fiscal year. Our general total fund revenue, we're at 72.7, so that's a little bit down, but those always seem to catch up themselves. The general fund expenditures, which is the first one that I get nervous about, we're sitting at 58.3, so we're down. We're in good shape, basically, is what both those things tell us. If we were supposed to be at 83%, again, those will increase. That 58.3 is low now, but these last couple of months it goes crazy because a lot of that stuff comes in right before the end of the budget. So, but we're still in good shape either way. Employee recognition. I was kind of hoping Sean would be here just because I wanted to razz him a little bit, but it's not an anniversary date for him, but 34 years. I mean, I still wanted to recognize that because I think that's amazing, but I was going to tease him about his baby face and he needs a new picture, but when you look at mine in there, I think mine's even worse than that. I got to upgrade mine because I look like I'm about 10. He looks like he's 20, so. But I will give him a hard time about that tomorrow. The only other one we had was Kim. Kim Wynn? Was she going to be here? Okay. Our animal services, Kim hits her 5-year mark this year, so congratulations to her. Abe is on there with 19, so Public Works is busy. Our staffing authorization continues as is. I do know that we've had some shifts. We've made some hires in upper management, just filling holes in positions, and so now we'll fill out the bottom tier, but that's all moving, so we're in good shape there. Police department just made a hire for an assistant. Have you made that public?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Let me say something.
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not sure if the council's heard, I know the mayor has, that Assistant Chief Mike McNeely's retiring effective June 1st. He's done a great job for us. He's helped me get off to a good start as the chief, and he's had a great career, but realized it's time to kind of hang it up. And so we did some internal search for a new assistant chief. We had 3 of the 4 sergeants who were eligible, and Sergeant Derek Kingstrom was selected as the assistant chief. He's been with us since what year was that? 2011. So roughly 14 years. I think he's got about 19 years experience. And he's had every assignment here within the department. He's supervised our investigations bureau twice, and then spent about 3 or 4 years in there as a detective as well. So he's a pretty well-rounded officer, and he'll do a good job as an assistant chief. And so from that point forward, we'll move on to Phil.
Tier 1 or Tier 2?
He's a Tier 1. So we only have a few Tier 1s left. It's kind of crazy. I was talking to Stacy about it, and we were kind of going through it. I'm like, wait a minute. I think we have pretty much anyone that's in supervision is tier 1 at this point, and then everyone that's not is tier 2. So all my sergeants, myself, and the assistant chief, tier 1. However, with that being said, as we backfill Sergeant Inkstrom's position, we'll have a new sergeant, and it'll be a tier 2 sergeant. So I'm still stuck in the tier 1 era. I feel bad for some of the tier 2 guys. But anyways, we do have another officer. I'll bring her in to get her sworn in. Her name's Megan Foster. We talked about her a little bit. She comes from AP&P. She'll start May 31st. And then we'll also have to hire another position to fill Mike's position when he officially leaves. So we'll have some transition, but it'd be good to have another female officer on the department to give us some diversity. So I'm looking forward to it. Any questions? All right, thanks.
Thanks to you, Chief. We know you're staying busy, and no more trips out of town. Those other guys that are gone tonight, they can do whatever they want. But 2 months ago, Chief Warren was headed to St. George when we had the Amber Alert, and then was it Thursday night or Friday? Thursday night. Thursday night he was headed to Yellowstone, and he got to turn around and come back from that. So we're glad you're back. You made it back safe. And hopefully your PTO's kind of gone now, and we can have a quiet year from here. From here on out. So,
Matter of fact,
yeah.
I sent you a story.
I saw that. I saw that.
You saw it, but you can show it.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I got a text. So
Good news for you.
yeah, good. So anyway, thanks for all you and your guys. I mean, the best thing you can do is get those things solved quickly. That's all we can hope for in those type of things. So you and your guys got both cases, pretty much wrapped up in one night. And we don't have to worry about stuff going on and dragging on. So, anyway, back to you, Mr. Brooks.
No, that's a good point. I was going to actually mention that it's citywide right now. This is the time of year that we all just kind of dread because when the weather warms up, then all Brandon's things take off. Public Works gets busy. I took some pictures the other day that I should have brought down and showed you. Again, taking a jab at Sean here, but I was on my way over to the police department. And I see somebody out on our mower, and I'm thinking, man, who's that? Couldn't figure out who it was. And it was Mr. Douglas out there mowing lawns. I hadn't seen that since I've been here. So that's 25 years. But he's got a couple guys out for different things and medical leave deals and just people taking vacations. And they are so short-handed. Sean's been out just putting the wheels to the road. And it was pretty entertaining. I was teasing him a little bit about it. And everybody's like that. The fire's been busy, but Casey especially, but then we've had everything with the America First. I mean, it has been like nonstop around here, so we're just trying to keep our head above water. But that's pretty much all I had for my stuff. I was going to turn some time over to Brandon, just give you a little bit of update on some of the city stuff as far as community development that'll be separate from his RDA presentation. So.
Thank you. I'm happy to report that the power poles that were in South Weber Drive and Century Way have been removed as of Sunday. So that safety issue has been resolved, and a few of folks in that area had to suffer through some power outages, I understand. So we're happy to see that. Our typical construction projects that are happening now are all going well. Trader Joe's is commencing with the things that they need to commence with, and everybody seems to be progressing the way that they should. We've had a couple of follow-up meetings with the folks at the Leslie Park there, the Riverside Flat project. We met with Chris Hatch and a couple people from his team. And so we're trying to work through some resolution for that based on our conversation in the last council meeting. So that's been progressing, moving forward. We do want to find a resolution for that that's going to work for everybody. So that's generally what's going on. I've fielded a few phone calls for the RC Willey building. I won't bring up what the proposed uses are because they're not worth talking about, but at least there's some action there, as Mr. Brooks said.
We don't have any dates on like Panera or any of those places yet.
I've been told by the contractor that Panera is July. I believe they're a little bit delayed with their site work, so I'm not sure if that's still the date, but July was the last time I was given that information. And I was also told that they have one home at Coleman View under contract, and I believe one other soon to be, so things are happening there as well.
Speaking of Panera, you may have seen that if you've driven over there. The island is now in the middle of Riverdale Road. So if you're coming down out of the terrace, don't cut that too sharp, or you're going to be going over a bump right there. That was a mandate by UDOT. We fought that and tried to get out of it, but they wouldn't budge on it. It doesn't go down really far, I think, just to the edge of Panera, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that is in place. If you get any questions about that, that was a UDOT deal. We had nothing. We fought it, but got nowhere with it. So,
Any questions for Mr. Brooks or Mr. Cooper? I do have to tell you one funny story. Friday night, my mom was watching Fox News, Fox 13, 9 o'clock news, and she records it, and she said, "Oh, you've got to hear this, you've got to hear this." And so she rewound it and held her phone up, and Max Roth on there was saying, just for clarification, there was some talk about a Trader Joe's going in northern Utah, and we have reached out to them and we checked with them, and there are no plans for a Trader Joe's. We talked to them, and they said there's no expansion or no planned stores going in northern Utah, because she knows that just is just such a kind of a sore spot, and so it's still going on, even as recent as Friday night. I looked on their website, I couldn't find like a little story or anything, but it's just really funny. Just won't go away. Anyway, okay, thank you for all you guys do. So we'll now move on to the consent items. Number 1, consideration to approve the meeting minutes for May 6th, council work session and council meeting. Any questions or changes to those minutes? Councilor Arnold.
We have the changes that were submitted by Michelle prior to this meeting. So I would make a motion to approve the minutes for the meetings for May 6th and for the work session and the council meeting as submitted within the email.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Consent item number 2 is to consideration to set some public hearings, 5 in total, for upcoming budget adoption, and also some other adjustments to like the water fund and stuff. So we would just need a motion to set those public hearings. Or any discussion on that first, I guess? Any questions?
No, we had some discussion about dates.
Yeah.
But it says in the packet that the public hearing for June 3rd as follows, and if some of those dates are going to change, do we need to put something in the motion?
it might not be a bad idea. I mean, the final stuff on D and E and really F, even though that's not under, but the certified tax rate that we didn't list specifically would be on the 17th. The rest of those would be on the 3rd, just to eliminate any confusion that people might have in case they listen to this.
We wouldn't put F in there because it's not in the
Right,
packet at all.
right.
So I would make a motion to set public hearing as stated within the packet for A, B, and C on June 3rd and D and E on June 17th.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second. Oh,
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor say yes.
yes.
Any opposed?
That certified tax rate's part of the overall budget anyway, so it'll be covered in
It's
that,
part
so
of
we're
E.
okay.
Yeah. All right, very good. Move on to the action items. Number 1, consideration of Resolution 2025-16, approving a franchise agreement with Comcast of Utah, Inc. Mr. Brooks?
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, Comcast reached out to us on this, which I appreciate them doing. Sometimes we get these things going and we just overlook them. We've got a number of these through the city. We initially entered into a contract with these guys in 2009 for a 10-year contract, so that would have expired in 2019. And they reached out to us again for a new one, and that's what's included in here. This contract, I think, is significant, even though it's quite a bit shorter, it's significantly better than the previous one. But this just gives them the right to use our properties to install whatever, their infrastructure things that they're putting in. And that's all this is.
Any questions from the council?
Just by way of information, this is regulated by a federal statute, actually, I believe. And that's why we do those franchise fees on that. That's where we'd get some of this money back on some of this kind of stuff. So even though it's not specifically listed, it falls under those parameters of that federal statute.
Counselor Arnold.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-16 as stated within the packet, with the exception that the resolution says 10 years and the contract is 5 years, so we need the resolution changed for a 5-year period.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, please poll the council.
Yes.
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 All right, very good. That passes unanimously. We'll move on to number 2, consideration of Resolution 2025-17, approving an interlocal agreement for the provision of technical forensic services. Chief Warren.
All right, Mayor and Council, so as we talked about before, it's just renewing an agreement with CSI for our forensic services. It's based upon population and then the amount of service that they provide for us. So they'll go off the average call volume every year and come up with a calculation city by city to make sure it's kind of fair and equitable what the cities are paying. It's been a really good partnership. It helps save us a bunch of money, and we're able to get the highest level of service, forensic services, and I believe in northern Utah. I don't think you'll find a better CSI group out there. They go up into Box Elder County, help out. They go into Morgan County, help out. There's a lot of other counties that are actually seeking their services. So I think it's a great benefit to the residents of Riverdale to enter into the agreement. And it's just that time of year when we need to renew. So is there any questions?
Counselor Arnold.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-17 as stated within the packet.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Ms. Maragoni, please poll the council.
Counselor Stevens?
Yes.
Counselor Hanson?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold?
Yes.
Counselor Richter?
Yes.
Counselor Halls?
Yes. Very good. That passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We'll now move on to the comments section of our meeting. Any comments from the city council? No? All right. Any?
I'm
Counselor
sorry.
Richter.
I know we talked about it at our last meeting, but we still have some calendaring issues for that subcommittee on the finance piece
Yeah.
prior to some of these other meetings.
We've kind of purposely put that off a little bit just because Cody's so overwhelmed getting this done, and I need him for that stuff. So we haven't put that as a high priority, but it's still going to happen. But most of our work's going to be right after we pass the original or the final budget.
After the budget?
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments from the city staff? Okay. And I don't have any comments either. So we would need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second? Please.
Second.
All right. All in favor say yes.
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 All right. We're adjourned. Okay. Very good.
I wanted to say.
All right. We'll move on.